All right, guys, I don't usually do this, but I feel like it's probably worth it. So give me 30 seconds. Don't skip. I'm going to play you a clip of a video from my other channel. I just started like doing this live thing. And if you don't like the clip, fine. You can skip the entire video if you want. But I promise you, you will like this clip. And if you do, go and watch the full video because it's so worth it and it means a lot to me.
Now, if you want me to clean this neighborhood up of all the tweakers, you know I'm military trained. What I would need is an M16A1 semi-automatic, fully automatic rifle, 5.56, a bayonet, or a very big, hold on, stop it now. A very big knife, a K-bar would be nice, Marine Corps, a bulletproof vest, lightweight, 500 rounds of ammunition, 5.56 hollow point. Oh, wait a second. I need a good flashlight, like
I need a good flashlight.
Please, folks. This is very necessary. The equipment.
Now, let's get to the video. Bye. All right, y'all. Shit. Let's check out this Neil Degrasse Tyson destroys a rude waiter with facts ass shit, man.
Let's welcome Neil Degrasse Tyson.
I love this guy, bro. He's a real ass scientist, bro.
All right. You don't want to inflate him.
Hey, he's a G.
Just for as an example, I was asked about the movie Guardians of the Galaxy, and they asked me, well, the ships that are going through space, they make noise, and clearly, does that upset you? Because in space, where there is no air, no one can hear you scream, but no one can hear you explode either, nor will you hear engines or.
I always find this funny, but like, if you create a spaceship and then it goes out into space, I know people are like, you shouldn't hear any sound, but shouldn't you be able to hear sound in the spaceship? Like, yes, outside in space, sound might not travel, but in the ship that's out in space, sound would have to travel because planets are out in space and sound travels in planets. So like, couldn't you just assume that the sound that you're hearing from the ship isn't reverberating from outside of the ship, but it's actually coming from within the internal aspect of the ship? I think that would make like a lot more sense, and then it would stop people from posing such minutely stupid questions. But
or anything. And so they said, does that upset you? And I said, I bought into the idea that this movie has a talking raccoon that shoots artillery from heavy weaponry off its shoulder. If I can accept that, I'm good with whatever else they deliver in the film. So I have the capacity to accept movie magic. Yes.
What would happen if someone served you a hot cocoa with whipped cream and you see no whipped cream in evidence?
Oh, don't get me started.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
I don't drink it. I don't drink it. I ordered a hot cocoa with whipped cream and I don't see no whipped cream. Fuck no. Ew. What is that?
About levitating. Right.
That.
So all the people are levitating. It's some kind of an illusion that they're not telling you about. Okay. Period. Okay. Now then, but if you really want to levitate, if this is really important to you, I tried to calculate how many cans of beans this would require. Then you got to kind of hold it in.
Yeah. All right.
Then let loose.
Suddenly.
Yes. And in principle, for the duration of the thrust, you can levitate briefly.
But this would argue against the lotus position, because there would be an opening so suddenly that there'd be too much, too soon, too fast, and therefore no rise.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't Well, you could stay there if it just kept coming in. Right.
This is so silly,
So
bro.
it's not impossible to hold a lotus position. It's just unlikely you're doing it for these other ways that are described.
I see.
Yes.
The cocoa?
Coco. Oh yeah. So there was an incident in Pasadena, California. I was there. I don't drink much coffee. I don't have a relationship with caffeine, but every now and then I'll be delighted to have a nice cup of hot cocoa. And I went to one of these coffee houses, with the chalkboard out front. And so I had, the kind I'm talking about. They're all over Brooklyn. You trip on the chalkboards in Brooklyn. So I'm in there, I order hot chocolate. And I ordered with whipped cream, of course, right? And it comes to the table, and there's no whipped cream. And I said, I ordered this with whipped cream.
I don't
He said,
want it.
Oh, we put it on.
No,
And I
no,
said,
no.
Well, where is it? Oh, he said, it's sunk to the bottom.
Fuck no, bro. Whipped cream doesn't do that, especially not that fast if you were doing your job right. I am not drinking that shit. That is nasty. Ew. That's disgusting. They pissed on my shit and then try to give me some
I
weird
then
ass.
said,
Nah, I promise you, they pissed on this shit, bro. They pissed on this shit. I would never.
either the laws of physics that apply everywhere in the universe are suspended in your coffee shop, or you didn't put whipped cream on my hot cocoa.
Yep.
And he looked indignant.
Really?
Now, to his credit, rather than continue to argue with me, he intended to prove me wrong. So he went into the kitchen, brought out the whipped cream, scooped it up, popped it in my hot cocoa, and it bobbed once and floated atop. And there it was.
Yeah, nigga, I don't know why you think whipped cream is supposed to sink. All right, like literally, the whipped cream is gonna be lighter than the hot cocoa, unless like whatever drink you have is like I don't know why it would weigh more than. I don't know why the whipped cream would weigh more than like whatever drink you had. It's whipped cream. It's pretty much foamy. Like there's no reason for it to sink.
Did you
Of
invite
course,
him?
whipped
Did you
cream.
invite him
No,
to
of
push it?
course, whipped cream has to float.
Of course,
Because first of all, before it was whipped cream, it was cream.
It was just-
And old timers remember, what does cream do in unhomogenized milk? It floats to the top.
the top.
And you skim off the cream,
Yeah.
leaving behind skim milk. Okay? This is how that works. Now you take the heavy cream and then whip it, putting air into it. It is not going to sink on any known liquid devised by man.
exactly. Unless for some reason you find some type of liquid that like is going to weigh that much less than like whipped cream, and that doesn't make sense. Like you wouldn't find something like that. You don't need to be a scientist to know that. Like that's just common sense. I mean, I know science, but like that is common sense.
Okay? So,
So fucking dumb. It's so rare that I like, man.
so here's my point. The lesson there is,
Yes.
I'm a fan of the edict. If an argument lasts more than 5 minutes, then both sides are wrong. I think that applies maybe 85% of the time, but it's a good.
I like
it's a
it.
good
I like
rule-
it.
It's a good tenet.
Because usually, if one side is right or more right over the other, then they will say like a very deadly like boom statement that's just going to shut down the whole thing. So I agree with
to
it.
carry with you. Now watch. This is how science works. One researcher comes up with a result. And that is not the truth. No. A scientific emergent truth is not the result of any one experiment. What has to happen is somebody else has to verify it. Preferably a competitor. Preferably someone who doesn't want you to be correct. such as my waiter. He went out to prove me wrong and got the same result that I had declared. We can call that the beginnings of an emergent truth about whipped cream. Now we need someone to do it in Asia and in Europe, and then you get a trend, and you can then declare that a consensus of observation and experiments has emerged in the scientific community. Whipped cream floats on hot chocolate.
And that waiter today is getting a PhD in buoyancy.
Yeah. If you don't know about hot chocolate and the sciences behind it, then use common sense, because that can also help you in a lot of situations to not sound dumb. I often wonder why it's so hard for people to use common sense on anything. I'm like, who the fuck would think whipped cream is going to float on anything? Like, on any liquidy surface? Who would ever think that? I don't know why somebody would possibly ever think some shit like that. That's crazy to me. Wow. Man. I want to say some shit like that to my mom, man, one day.
When I take back, I recall a man off the family tree.